It's getting toward evening. I was gonna tear apart this. This is that motor that was in the XT. I was gonna tear that down. I think I'll wait till tomorrow. But I can't remember what head I have on that. And so I want to tear that down to see if it's the big valve or the small valve. Because it was just assembled out of parts I got off of eBay. So if it's the big valve head I want to regrind that and maybe replace the valves. But what I was going to talk about, everybody is carrying on about this wanting to forgive student loans or 10,000, though there's a lot of people, that's just a drop in the bucket for them. There's a lot of people who owe a hell of a lot of money in them student loans. That's a problem, but it's their problem. I don't think you can go and hit everybody else with their debt. But what I really don't like is the way they're going about this. Because what they're doing is unconstitutional. If it actually, it has to go through the Congress. It's going to end up in the Supreme Court, and they're going to deny it. I think what they're thinking is, well, like they've done before, we'll do it before they catch up to us. Because the Supreme Court always lags so far behind on this stuff. So they pull some maneuver, even they know it's illegal, but they'll go ahead and do it, and then have to try to undo it later. So I don't like that aspect of it, and I certainly don't want to pay off a bunch of other people's loans. That's just ridiculous. And the funny part, it comes across, the first thing you think is this is to buy votes. It could be what they're thinking, but the truth is most of those people that are in that situation are already voting Democratic. It makes no difference. I don't think you're going to gain anybody that way. But like I say, I think in the end they're going to have to drop that idea. And there were some of them were pushing $50,000 they wanted. That's just a crazy, crazy number, but numbers mean very little to them. And the Constitution means very little to them. Because they know, their idea is if they can, get this in before the midterms, even if it gets overturned later, they're thinking then whoever overturns it will look like the bad guy, So that's what they're working on. But to do it under the guise of it being a pandemic-related thing, that's just disingenuous. It really, even the idea of putting a moratorium on these payments now that they've been doing for, 2 years, or they want to extend it. There again, it won't kick in until, the having to repay won't start again until like January after the midterms, But there's a lot of them that are saying, just want to forgive them all, just forgive these loans. Well, I tell you, what they really, they can't do that. You just plain can't do that. But what they have to go after are these schools that are charging this tremendous fees. That's just ridiculous. Uh, they have to work at it from that angle. You don't work on a symptom, you have to work on the cause, and the cause is in the schools. A hell of a lot of these people that have these huge student loans, they start going to school, and they never quit going to school. You know, they never, that's their whole life is to keep going to school. So eventually they end up working for the school. You know, like a lot of them become teachers. There's a hell of a lot of these people that are in way over their heads are in the education system now. Just breeding up a whole bunch more liberals. No, it's right. Oh, easy. He missed her. Dog always got to walk too. Very honestly, I don't think it'll help me in the midterms. But it's a kind of a feel-good thing to them. But there's no justification for it. Like I say, I believe in the end it'll be knocked down. But to use the pandemic as a reason to work around the Constitution, that is annoying. But there's something else I was going to bring up. If I can find this. Like I say, I've been out on the grader the last few days. And a lot of times, when I'm out on the grader, I'll listen to like books on tape or documentaries on tape. And this happened to be a documentary I was listening to. Okay, it just freaked you. It'll freak you out.
Ferguson only got his.
It was called
Doctorate.
Shots, Eugenics, and the Two Pandemics. And this is on a network called Tubi. You know, it's a video service. It's one of these free things. They run a few ads, but they have a lot of really good documentaries. And this one, I tell you, you listen to that and it freaks you out. Just to do with all the, when they first started, back with like the Spanish flu and all that stuff. Hey, don't. No. No, 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 come back for that. Hey, come here. Hey. Yeah, it was a slight interruption there. My rubber gloves are in this package, and the dog thought it was some kind of treat. And he was going to run off and rip them open. He can't be trusted around anything in a bag or something he thinks is food. But that's a very interesting documentary, and they actually, a lot of their stuff is drawn from like documentaries that were on PBS and stuff. I mean, this is all factual stuff. The involvement of the Rockefellers in the whole vaccination program. Interesting, but like I say, it'll freak you out. But there's quite a few of that sort of thing on there because they aren't, you know, like YouTube would never allow that on. But Tubi's pretty good. But like I say, it's one of them free things. And most time documentaries, I can listen to them. I don't have to have, you know, I don't have to watch the video. The information is what they're, you know, telling you. So it's interesting. And it passes the time when I'm out on the grader. Because I don't have to pay a lot of attention. I'm going to run that grader so long, I do that automatically. I don't have to, you know, sit there and concentrate on it. I do it instinctively. But that one, I'm going to have to watch over it. It's like 2.5 or 3 hours, but just fact after fact, man, it's something else. But you see where we got where we are by listening to that sort of thing. He's still looking for something. But that Tubi thing, you know, you're always leery about, oh, free video service. Oh, that actually, I've been using that for a couple of years, and it's pretty good network. They have a lot of the older movies and sitcoms and stuff, you know, stuff that I'm more interested in. But when you get into the documentaries, that's interesting, and also they got a lot of sort of pseudo documentaries that are more of the tinfoil hat variety. Well, I've always liked science fiction, so I find them entertaining. And a lot of times in those conspiracy tinfoil hat things, there's usually a grain of truth. You know, so they're interesting to listen to. Well, wrap her up for the day. But I thought I would give you my thoughts on this student loan dilemma. I've just known so many people who have bogged themselves down with them. You know, they get out of high school and, you know, the parents always think, well, they want, you know, what's best for their kid. And a lot of times, you know, college really isn't what's best for the kid, but you always think, you want them to do better than, you know, to improve their lives, do better than you. Well, running up a hell of a debt isn't the way to do it. But I do put a lot of blame on the colleges and the government. But it's a problem, but this is not the answer. For the ones that are really damaged by this, it isn't enough to do them any good. And it's setting a precedent that's really bad. Well, and it is unconstitutional. But the schools like it. You know, jack up their fees a little higher. You know, it's, like I say, what they charge is just insane. And then the fact is that most of the time people come out of them and they're useless for the rest of their life. You know, they're just programmed. You know, doesn't work out well. And very seldom do they end up actually in a field that they were studying. You know, they'll end up flipping burgers someplace and trying to pay off this horrendous loan. But they live high on the hog while they're in school, party. Yeah. Seen a lot of that. And I don't think that's going to end. And I don't think forgiving loans is going to make it any better. You know, I can sympathize with the people that are stuck in that. I've known people who have had to live with the horrendous debt hanging over them. That's a tough way to be. But you had the option, you know. It's a choice you made. And I do think people have to learn to live with their choices. Yeah.